It was 47 years ago when Ike Aran first sailed across the Mediterranean. His ship, the Exodus. His cargo, 4,500 Jewish refugees. 47 years later, Exodus 94, sponsored by the Youth and Hechalutz Department of the Joint Authority for Jewish Zionist Education, carries 600 Jewish youth from across North America on a voyage that retraces the journey of the Ma'apilim. Illegal immigrants in search of a place to call home. The city of Rome was the starting point for a simulated journey back to the days of Aliyah Bet and British-mandated Palestine. For most of these young people, it will be a first trip to Israel. It's also the first time so many Jewish youth, representing so many different youth groups, have joined together. Here they learned firsthand about the exile of the Jews from ancient Jerusalem, about years of wandering and life in foreign lands, about the return to their own land almost 2,000 years later, a time when the shadow of the Holocaust fell over the Jews of Europe, a time when nations closed their doors, a time when Aliyah was illegal.
Shalom, my name is Danny, I'm a Gidon from Eretz Israel. We are going now to Brindisi port. We have a ship. We'll take you to Eretz Israel. As you all know, Eretz Israel is not ours yet. We have the British who control there. We told the British that the boat, Exodus, is going to Colombia. So if anyone asks you, where are you heading off, you say, we are going to Colombia. Somebody organize them in a line or some sort of geometrical shape. You can have your papers, please. Yes, you. What's your name?
Evan Newman.
You're also going to Palestine?
Colombia.
Welcome to that service. Please put your names in just right, okay? But the British officer shouldn't see, okay? Alright, Tim O'Brien. So what do you want from Colombia?
I want to find work. There's no work here.
You know that if this ship goes to Palestine and you're aboard it, you will all be illegal passengers.
Small boat experience, and I thought originally that's the way I would be used. I would be used on a small sailboat that carried maybe 100 people. Exodus, the Warfield, originally carried 350 people. When we got through putting beds on, we had enough beds for 4,500. We left Italy and went to France, and while we were on our way to France, trucks were coming from all over Europe. Trucks loaded with olim. 40 people to a truck, and each one carrying about 50 pounds of everything they owned in the world.
This group is the last generation that will be able to touch those who went on these boats. They'll also be the last generation to touch the founders of the state, and also probably the last generation to touch the survivors of the Holocaust.
I'm very surprised that they're Judaism or their feeling is there, but they really don't know about Ali Abed, and they don't know about how the state started, and it's not in their history writings, evidently. They were never taught.
We were lying in a place called Set. We were ready to leave, and again the British struck. They struck by telling the pilot, who was supposed to take our ship out of Set, that if he came near that ship, they would guarantee he would spend a lot of time in prison. We decided to take the ship out by ourselves without a pilot, which is a very, very unusual thing to do. You don't do it. We got out to sea. As soon as we hit the Mediterranean, overhead was a British airplane. They spotted us, and they radioed ahead to what was then known as the British Mediterranean Fleet. The British Mediterranean Fleet was there exclusively to keep Ali Abed ships from getting near the coast of Palestine. And they started shadowing us. They started following us. And we kept going because we were in international waters, carrying legal passengers with legal certificates for Colombia.
I admire their courage and their bravery, and it just makes me feel good to be a Jew, that like these people could do this, and that these were my people that had so much courage and so much strength.
Sorts of vadot that we could join and participate in, and originally I wanted to participate in the music vad, but I decided that I'd probably get a more meaningful experience out of journalism. I interviewed Frank Levine, one of the American volunteers in the first trip, and I learned quite a bit of why he came and what he was expecting and things, and that was very, very interesting.
American Jews came as volunteers, all right? Palestinian Jews wanted to build a state, and the refugees who wanted to come to Palestine with such fervor, such strength, okay, working together, created a state.
I want to set my country free, I want to go and now we have to have my country every time. I want to work for Shanghai Bus to help me get up on the boat. That's how I feel right now, Shalom till 5.
Shipboard birth from Haifa, Sunday. The immigrant who gave birth on Friday on the refugee ship Hatikva, Leah Friedman, and her baby have been taken to the government hospital. The father was allowed to remain in Palestine and is at Athlete. Another 127 immigrants from the British zone in Germany, selected by the British authorities and the Jewish Agency, arrived in
big honor to meet these people because I've learned about them all my life in Hebrew school and in general reading books and stuff, and now I actually get to meet them in real life. So it's a pleasure. I feel very honored.
There's more pictures on the ship. The ship itself changed the name from Trade Winds. When we came in the British quarters, we made it Hatikva, Hope. And that's the way the ship was named. Okay, here's Murray Greenfield, Harold Katz, Hugh McDonald. See this fella here, Josh? See this one right here? He jumped off the ship about maybe 200 yards when the British were pulling us in, and he swam ashore. Okay, he got away.
American Jewish volunteers were very courageous because when I look at myself at this time, and if you would tell me, come right now to a certain part of the world and sail a ship to help people, I'd say, yeah, you're crazy, you know, I'm not going to do that. And I just, you know, those guys did it, and, you know, they're very courageous and they're heroes in my mind.
on everyday things in life. Right now, we're having sessions on the ecology and environment.
The consumption of alcohol or drugs, who can and under what circumstances?
For the first time, all of a sudden, reform began to understand what Beitar is all about. Beitar began to understand what USY is all about. They prayed together, they sang together, they participated in discussions together, and right now they're even planning a common agenda for the future. What they see as youth will be the problems of the 21st century.
I've learned a lot about the Jewish heritage through this trip. It seems as if I'm reenacting the whole Exodus, and it's bringing me back and establishing a closer identity to my Jewish ancestry, and that is very important to me.
It's much easier for me to understand what my grandparents were telling me now that I'm on the actual boat and I'm going from Italy to Israel, to Haifa, and they've been telling me forever about what they do, and now I understand. Now when they tell me stories, I will be able to understand what they're saying.
The method that we have been discovered. This entire voyage has been revealed by the British. They are starting to send all kinds of vessels and maybe even airplanes to our direction to stop us. They are determined not to let the exodus to arrive in Palestine. During the confrontation that will probably be with the British, it is very important we have exact information on where every Mapil is from now until the end of the voyage, hopefully the successful end of the voyage.
No ship carrying Olim and Aliyah Bet ever gave up without a fight. We wanted to show the British, and through the British, the world, that Palestine was our destination, and the whole British Navy could not keep us from it. We fought them, but we didn't fight them with guns. Our real secret weapon was a group of 1,000 young people ranging in age from 15 to their middle 20s. And they would be on the top deck, the top of the ship, to throw things at the British. This is the way we fought them. The British knew, after observing us, that if we wanted to, within the 3-mile limit, we could put the ship up on the beach in Tel Aviv, unload our people, and that would be the end of the ball game.
Attention all Matilim. Attention all Matilim. We have been informed by the underground command in Eretz Israel that we have been detected by the British. A British battleship has left in our direction with the intention of stopping us. I repeat, a British battleship has left in our direction with the intention of stopping us.
They decided at 2 o'clock in the morning, 25 miles off the coast of Palestine, that they were going to hit us. The way they hit us was for 2 destroyers to come alongside our bow and to hit us very sharply as if they had a nut between a nutcracker.
I repeat, all groups are to arrive to the back deck and start preparation for the confrontation.
If you see the plane, raise all your flags and banners as a demonstration against the British.
An overwhelming feeling for me to know that I'm doing a journey that my grandparents did almost 50 years ago to get to freedom, and I'm doing it now that Israel is a country and that it is our homeland, and I'm knowing that I'm going there not for hostile reasons, but because I'm able to, not because I have to.
They made a drawbridge, and across this drawbridge came British sailors and Marines shooting tear gas at us and throwing these fireworks. In the battle, they captured the wheelhouse, they shot one of the American volunteer sailors, they eventually, the other guy they hit died, a guy by the name of Bill Bernstein from San Francisco. They killed 2 of the young refugee kids. They wounded over 100 of the refugees, but the battle went on for 4 hours.
Jewish refugees, you are approaching the territorial waters of Palestine. When you reach it, we shall send a boarding party. We advise you to be reasonable and act wisely. And know our strength is greater than yours.
adults, and children. The only desire of these people is to get to their homeland and start a new life as free people.
A decision was made after 4 hours of battle that we would surrender the ship. We surrendered the ship. We were escorted into Haifa, and I'll never forget, from the shores of Haifa we could hear Hatikva, and from the deck of our ship we could hear Hatikva.
God, coming into the harbor in Israel and just seeing everything for the first time and having maybe like 700 Jewish teenagers around me just cheering and jumping up and down and feeling the same incredible emotions that I was feeling. Happiness and relief and excitement and curiosity. It's really wonderful.
All the Jewish refugees on board, you are prisoners. We won't send you back to Europe, but we will take you to Atlit prisoners camp.
The original Ma'apilim never made it to Cyprus or Atlit. They were arrested, placed on prison ships, and deported to Europe, where finally they were detained in a prison camp in Hamburg, Germany, in the land they most feared and despised. The story of the Exodus galvanized world public opinion. On the 29th of November 1947, the United Nations resolved to end British rule over Palestine and partition the land into a state for Jews and a state for Arabs. When the men, women, and children of the Exodus finally completed their journey, they came ashore in a land now their own, the State of Israel, established in 1948. Today's young Mapilim were more fortunate. They remained in Israel at the old British detention camp in Atlit, where thousands of illegal immigrants and hundreds of Jewish underground fighters were once incarcerated for wanting to return home and build a state. Now an historical museum, Atlit Camp depicts the life and times of illegal immigration. It recreates the conditions in which the Jewish refugees lived while under British detention. Reenacting the Haganah breakout, these young people were able to escape, to take their place as free Jews in a land they could call their own.
We made our best that you'll be able to go through this process, to feel, to sense, to understand what was behind the creation of this wonderful state. I'm sure that after this trip, you know much better about your heritage, about your tradition, about your future as Jewish people.